warm but breezy day here, the Village's Polo Ground. An unchanged starting lineup from the previous game for the Village's SC. And why would you change anything? A 6-1 win. If it isn't broke, don't try to fix it. That win over the Southwest Florida Adrenaline, who was still in the playoff hunt up until this past week. That 6-1 defeat may have actually pushed them beyond the brink of making the playoffs. We're just about ready for kickoff here. Carlos Arujo and Augusto Maciel in the center circle, ready to get things underway. William Pereira with the big switch to Archie Masson, who gets knocked down early in this first half there. It was Gonzalo Medina, who has a couple of words with the center official there. That ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Protecting your home field, always very important in any sport, but a point would certainly be vital for the Village's SC today here at the Polo Ground. Arns Carnard plays the ball in. Iago Lopez whistled for the foul. Giancarlo Donde fouled in the center. Center official wants to have a word with Iago Lopez after the foul. He's trying to get control early in this game. Just wants to have a word with Lopez, and I think the officiating crew recognizes that this is going to be a very, very passionate game, and you might want to get the emotions in check early. Otherwise, you may have a long afternoon out there. Pedro Gias just clears it out of play. Arns Carnard will take this throw. It's turned over there. And William Pereira just plays the ball all the way forward to Tyler Brew. Tyler Brew will turn and play it out wide. Patricio Arce. Mark Hanlon. Pedro Hurtado now with the ball. Surveying, looking for an option there. Floridians FC now on the midfield line. That ball played forward. Intended for Gerardo Menziges. It goes long, and Paolo Pita able to take it without any pressure at all. The Villages will try to play out of the back now. William Pereira to Wesley and back on to William. So much on the line here. You could tell this is a bit of a feeling out process between two teams who had a game scheduled earlier this year that was postponed due to inclement weather. I believe they'll make that game up later on this week. So a bit of a feeling out process between these two teams that are inside the top three and vying for a playoff spot. William Pereira, Federico de Oliveira tried to flick on. comes to nothing. Iago Lopez, Gianluchisi, who had a great game on Wednesday. Arns Carnard steps in there and ball played off of him, out of play for a throw-in. Carlos Araujo ridden off that ball. The clearance, not good enough. Archie Masson takes a step forward. Now a chip to the back of the box. Araujo brings it down off his chest. He's got a man in a drop position, couldn't get it to him. That was Federico de Oliveira. Antonio Rodriguez, ball swung in. Augusto Maciel over his head. Ball goes out of play. Floridians FC throw. Pedro Gias now whistled for that foul. Just able to stand strong there amidst the pressure. Cordell Hill now laying the ball forward. Mark Hanlon. Hanlon with it. Comes backwards to Juan Favano. Now forward. Turn. And the strike from distance. Juan Carlos Dunde, who obviously has the green light to take shots. Took it there. William Pereira comes back. Possess this ball. That ball. Not a great one there. Arns Carnard able to cut it out. Carnard again with it. Receiving some pressure now. Tries to move forward. Lopez. Oh, tricky little touch there over the top of a sliding William Pereira. Good tackle by Maciel. Then almost gives it away. Lopez now under some pressure. Goes back to Pizza to relieve it. Iago Lopez. Pereira, long ball. Archie Masson with the run. It finds him. Archie Masson, the left foot, try to play it across the front of the box. It's knocked away just for a moment. De Oliveira, the flick on. Rodriguez, De Oliveira. De Oliveira cuts back to the middle of the field. Looked like a foul there, but I think the referee thought De Oliveira maybe went down a little too easily for his liking and wouldn't reward him for trying to sell the call. Instead, the Floridians come back this way. Menziguez. Oh, good ball in. That ball touched. Iago Lopez able to keep it off the line. But a dangerous ball that was certainly one where Iago Lopez couldn't let it get to the goalkeeper because there was an attacking player on his back. Had to at least get a touch to it and almost touched it into his own net, but then made amends for the errant clearance. Good ball in by Gerardo Menziguez. Pereira. Chips into his brother, William Pereira. Another great long switch. The wind sort of helped that get out of play. As the wind is blowing away from us in the direction of that far side of the pitch. Center official and the fourth official having a word with the head coach of Floridians FC. Not sure exactly what they're discussing out there. I think actually what they're discussing, he's asking, the center official is asking the head coach of Floridians FC to get some of the traveling Floridians fans under control. When you're in the midst of a playoff hunt and you're on the road against the top team in the table, not sure that that's something you'd want to have to worry about, is asking your fans to behave. Good ball across the face of the goal. The flag is up. Certainly a vocal contingent that came up from South Florida. I'll be honest, I kind of think you're supposed to be. Now, can't hear from this angle whether or not they've used abusive language or whatnot. Maybe that's what the official's warning, but certainly active, to say the least, down there. And in the meantime, the Floridians FC have had a couple of balls played from outside the box that look dangerous. William Pereira. John Lucchesi, who's going to get a little pressure here now. Plays into Carlos Araujo, whose first touch lets him down. Tries to battle back, but unfortunately kicks the ball out of play. Arns Carnard will play it. Menziguez. Hanlon. Oh, good ball there. Good attempted ball there, but Archie Masson, the right place at the right time. Lays back to Pizza, who plays long. Oh, great flick. De Oliveira gets it back from Araujo. De Oliveira now gets. That's the second one on De Oliveira that the official has had a pretty good angle to look at and decided nothing in it. Arns Carnard there. His right back position. John Lucchesi, the fourth, able to come over and clean up that mess for a moment. Floridians look to keep it, and that ball looks like it came off of the Floridians, and the assistant official agrees. Came off of Juan Carlos Donde. Wesley Pereira. Chip to Archie Masson. De Oliveira. Rodriguez. That ball works its way all the way back to William Pereira. That ball goes out of play. Decent possession there on the sideline. Good pressure by Antonio Rodriguez, able to win that ball back for the Villages SC. Now Wesley Pereira. Masson advancing once again. That ball over the top into Augusto Maciel, but a little too strong. All the way back to Tyler Brew. Hanlon to Donde. Cordell Hill. Juan Favano asking players to come back to help. Donde trapping it, stepped on the ball and lost possession. Some pressure for both teams thus far, but nothing I would call a surefire goal-scoring opportunity as of yet. Carnard, Favano plays into Lopez. Cordell Hill. Hanlon again. Receives some pressure, leaves it. Outside of the foot pass. Carlos Araujo unable to get to it. Tyler Buru had to come out and play it outside of his box. Favano dispossessed by Wesley Pereira. It looked like Floridians FC wanted to break there. Pedro Gias to Maciel. Attempted ball into Carlos Araujo, but that was cut out. Lucchesi. Header. Attempted. Carlos Araujo in an offside position, can't play for that. William Pereira on the tackle, and Arns Carnard, I think, recognized his first touch was going long and certainly chose the free kick as the option there. Lopez now. Donde continues to make himself open. Wants it. Lopez gets it back here on the near sideline. Menzies, the intended target of that ball. Antonio Rodriguez, though. Carnard. Menzies again. Menzies with a little bit of room. Ball left out for Carnard. It's attempted cross. Maybe caught that jet stream there, because it went out of play. It was never an option for anybody in that box. William Pereira. Carlos Araujo. Let's get a touch on it. Doesn't take it with him. The battle there for the ball, won by the Villages SC. Antonio Rodriguez beats two guys. Carnard tries to recover and does. And his tackle brings that ball out for a corner kick. Previous game, the Villages capitalized on a corner kick opportunity with a goal. This is their first of the day. Pedro Gias comes over, right-footed in-swinger. Good low ball. I believe that actually made contact with Lucchesi. Maybe even got just a tiny bit of it. Goes all the way across the field now. Floridians FC throw. Gias and Lucchesi back and forth a little bit. Good ball up top. Antonio Rodriguez brings it down. I'm not sure if he saw Brew off his line and was testing him there, or if that was just an attempt to get the ball in the middle of the box, but in the end falls harmlessly into the hands of Brew. Good tackle again. Antonio Rodriguez picks the pocket of Menziges. Now the ball played back to Brew. A little pressure from Maciel. He just plays long. Lopez's header. Give him right back. Favano in that mix, but it falls to William Pereira. We'll recycle and go backwards now. Lucchesi, Iago Lopez. Yes. Long switch there. Masson, good trap in the direction he wanted to go. And that ball into the box, just behind, as a matter of fact, Carlos Araujo. But right now, momentum swinging in the favor of the Villages SC. And again, Antonio Rodriguez, each time Menziges tries to get the better of him, he fails. Favano in the middle now. Hanlon, stuff there. This referee not doing De Oliveira any favors today. That's a couple of calls you think he could have had offensively, and then defensively making that play and then shoved to the ground. Menziges now. That ball to Lopez. Lopez in the box. Tries to get it across. I think loses his footing a tad bit. Lucchesi gets it to Pedro Diaz. Araujo comes to show. That ball instead intended for Maciel, though, but turned over. It looks like that ball chipped in. Offsides is the call. Gonzalo Medina whistled for offsides there. That ball over the top to Araujo. In between the two center backs, able to bring it down. Just needed a little luck there for the ball to fall his way between the two defenders, but it doesn't. William Pereira steps in front, wins it, but just for a moment. Looks like he may have pulled a hamstring, though. That is not good news. Yeah, William Pereira being down for the Villages SC, not the sight that these fans and this coaching staff will want to see. Roberto de Lima hasn't been with the team the last few games, and there's two engines on this team. One's de Lima and the other one is Pereira. So to have to go at the back end of this regular season without both of those guys, even for a moment, would not be in the plans of Anderson de Silva. Trainer and de Silva discussing the health of William Pereira, who's going to stay out on the pitch. Just in case Diogo Pereira is up and warming up on the sideline, should they need to make a change. Not something you'd want to see, though, if you're a Villages supporter. Favano, long switch. Archie Masson able to get there. De Oliveira. Lopez. Now back to Pita. Asking everybody to go long. exactly what it does. He plays it up. Carlos Araujo beaten to that ball. Donde tries to flick on for Hanlon, but was a little too far. It'll be a Villages SC throw. Ball over the top. Augusto Maciel, the intended target there. Cordell Hill wins it in the air, though. Antonio Rodriguez. Menziguez. He and Rodriguez have had a pretty good little battle today. Rodriguez thus far getting the best of him. That ball over the top. De Oliveira's there. Maciel now. Araujo steps in front of that ball. He's ridden off. Menziguez. Lopez in the middle. Hanlon. Hanlon tries to get the ball through. Good pressure there, though, by Wesley Pereira. And that ball rolls all the way back to Pizza. Now the Village is back in possession. William Pereira. We'll see how he's affected over the next few minutes. Might have been a hamstring injury. Cordell Hill comes over and hits that ball away from Augusto Maciel. Remember Maciel, 2 goals in their last game. So he's in good form. Pereira. Rodriguez. Oh, goes with the Meg. But Arns Carnard sticks with it and turns around and wins the ball. Donde. Hanlon. The switch now. Favano. Menziguez. Menziguez there. Got past Rodriguez once and then tried it again, but Rodriguez wins that ball. Gets it out of play. Donde, the switch. Gonzalo Medina. Doesn't like to be whistled for anything, that's for sure. Whistled for the early foul, had words with the center official. And then after whistled for that offside there, gave a piece of his mind to the AR. Yeah, I believe maybe the goalkeeper touched it just outside the box. William Pereira, Carlos Araujo over top this ball here. Just outside the 18-yard box. Fully expect from this angle for it to be Pereira. And Araujo backs off finally. William Pereira. It's a goal! Took a slight deflection. I didn't see who it came off of. Not sure exactly who to give credit to the goal. Took a deflection off of somebody, but I couldn't make it out whether that was an Floridians FC defender. So for these purposes, William Pereira, I believe, will be credited with that free kick goal. For a guy who looked like moments ago was ready to come off the field grabbing his hamstring, that hamstring put to good use. attaching the Villages SC to a 1-goal lead. Long switch there. Antonio Rodriguez steps in easily and wins that ball away. Orange Carnard. Carnard and Arujo. A little too close for comfort there. That ball switched. Arce tries to get it to Donde. Donde, apparently Lopez, was able to touch that ball away from Donde. Donde asks for it back, gets it, lays it off, and the ball attempted right back onto him, but goes out of play. And as I mentioned, William Pereira back down on the ground, so I don't know how much is left in that hamstring here, but if he comes off now, and there was just enough in that hamstring to get the Villages SC a 1-goal lead. And it does look like William Pereira is going to come off as he's passed the captain's armband over to Iago Lopez. We saw Diogo Pereira. Looks like he'll be coming on. As I mentioned before, it is a tough break to see William Pereira come off the field for a team that already doesn't have Roberto de Lima. But important work done in this short time on the pitch today for William Pereira as he scored the free kick goal, which has the Villages SC up 1-0 over Floridians FC. Let's see what tactically Anderson does, as again William is offensively speaking Maciel tries to get to the ball. Cordell Hill just bangs it out of play. Pizza will just play long. Carlos Arujo, he and Orange Carnard. The flag is up for offsides, though. Lopez now. Donde with that left foot. But that's knocked down before it ever gets very far away from his own body. De Oliveira. Little miscommunication there between Rodriguez and Arujo. Donde. Menziguez. Lopez. Cavano. They work from right to left. Now Hill, Hanlon, and now Arce. Carnard's been asking for it for a while now. He's got it. Let's see what he does with it. Plays back on to Favano. Favano, the touch. Can he beat Lucchesi? No. Menziguez. Once again, Rodriguez. Menziguez may have nightmares tonight thinking about number 6 in green. Whether Menziguez goes right, left, or right down the middle, Antonio Rodriguez has been in the right place at the right time constantly today. Village is content to hold it. Now we'll play long. Augusto Maciel. Cordell Hill, though, wins it. But not far enough away. Maciel, again, coming off of a 2-goal performance on Wednesday. Villages continue to hold it, and then it'll play long. Carlos Araujo, Arns Carnard, and Araujo locked in. Credit to Carnard, who gives up some size there, but has done well enough. No foul there, just a throw. Carnard. Now Lopez comes all the way back. Arce. Archie Masson with the tackle there. Comes all the way back to Cordell Hill. Mark Hanlon. Menziguez is going to try his luck one more time, but turns it over again. Or just about turns it over as that ball clattered all the way back to the Floridians' defensive third. Lopez, Menziguez bailed out, I think, there. Donde wanted to see if the official was in the giving spirit. Threw himself to the ground. The referee says play on. Augusto Maciel tries to camp out underneath it. Arce and Maciel tangled up there, and Maciel whistled for the foul. Ball just over Carlos Araujo's head. Well played by Favano. Now Floridians look to get forward. Lopez to Donde. Donde, the switch. It's brought down just outside the 18-yard box. But Archie Masson there sticks an educated toe in and is able to win it away. Menziguez, left foot, good cross there. That ball headed across the face of goal. That was Gonzalo Medina. Found himself on the end of that header. Alopija goes long, but nobody's there. Favano wants to break. Again, I think this is where you start seeing loss of William Pereira as some of those balls played forward carelessly, giving possession back when you really didn't need to if you're the Villages. Let's see if they can settle down and find a guy. I'll come back and keep the ball. It's another long ball played forward. They're up 1-0. Lopez. Carnard. That ball headed forward. Maciel tried to flick on to Arujo. That ball, De Oliveira wins it. Arujo underneath it. Looked up. Saw Tyler Brew off his line and tried to just chip him. But with his left foot, pushed it a little bit wide. Credit to Federico De Oliveira, who's worked there. Created that scoring opportunity. Hanlon. Thiago Lopez had to come forward to make that play. Now Wesley Pereira. Referee thought about it for a second and then decided to award the Villages SC a free kick there. De Oliveira. Masson streaking. Masson onside. Ball across the front of the goal. Just beyond the left foot of Augusto Maciel, but not quite out of danger yet. If you're a Floridians fan, Antonio Rodriguez on that left foot. Ball swung in just beyond Carlos Arujo. Village just look to keep this in. Diogo Pereira. Oh, Diogo Pereira hit hard. No whistle there. And instead now Mark Hanlon keeps it. Bit of a scramble here, and let's see what the Floridians can do. Thiago Lopez defending. That ball pulled back to Lopez. Lopez, the long switch. Menziguez, good 4 yards offsides. Moment there where the game went haywire for a second. Resulted in an opportunity at the very least for the Floridians FC. They'll just play long to Carlos Arujo. Headed out just for a moment. Masson, Lucchesi, back to Palupita. That ball intended for Carlos Arujo, who was offsides. Headed, but it finds Arujo now. Arujo will drop it back. Antonio Rodriguez, who again took his eye off it. Hanlon, the flick on. Donde is there. Lopez thought that maybe Pizza was going to come get it. Instead, Lopez just plays it out of bounds. Menziguez now will take the throw into Dunde. Menziguez. Arns Carnard on his right foot, chipped in. Or Dunde's all by himself. He wants to get on that left foot, does, but that ball's always slicing away. Goes out of play for a goal kick. The way that ball was struck and the way the wind's blowing, if you're that ball boy, ball person, you may want to ask for a raise. Referee signals for Paulo Pita to get it back in play. He does. De Oliveira tried to flick on, but was beaten to it. Pavano to Donde. Donde, good work there. Menziguez. Menziguez now on his left foot inside of Lopez. Lopez tries to get it in the middle. He does. De Oliveira now. Favano on the right foot. shot, and Antonio Rodriguez throws his body in the way, and it goes out of play for a corner kick. Lopez will take this corner, right footer. Should swing outwardly. It does. Cordell Hill gets ahead to it, but was whistled for a foul earlier on. Looks like there's going to be 2 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half. I think both teams will really need to regroup inside the locker room because obviously Floridians FC being down a goal isn't good. But I think the Villages, without William Pereira on the field and without Roberto de Lima available, need to find the guy that's going to sort of make this engine run, make this thing go. So I think some of these touches and some of the lost possession here since his exit from the game is telling how important a guy like William Pereira is to this soccer team. Carlos Araujo offers the pressure there. That ball gets switched. Arns Carnard wants it. Menziguez tries to flick on. Does, in fact. Carnard's early ball. Early ball. Gets all the way back to Paulo Pita, who's just content to hold it. As he recognizes the end of this first half is near. He'll make Donde take a few extra steps. Pita mishits that ball. Caught Lucchesi on the backside. Lucky it didn't fall in a precarious position. Oh, that ball beats the defender for Floridians FC. Carlos Araujo before halftime, the second goal! Carlos Araujo. It's great to be good, but sometimes it's good to be lucky. And that goal there was set up by an errant play by Pedro Hurtado there as the ball bounced and jumped behind him, and he was clearly out of position. And Carlos Araujo says, "Thank you very much. I'll add to my goal scoring tally over this season with a late one here in the first half." That second goal is always so important in any soccer game. Menziguez, his touch. Again, Rodriguez always seems to do just enough against Menziguez. The end of the first half is here, but not before a second goal, a very important goal by Carlos Araujo, as now has the Villages SC Buffalo staked to a 2-0 lead over Floridians FC. We will be back for the second half of this game right here on thevillagesSC.com. That didn't take long. Carlos Vitor, who just checked in at the beginning of the second half, only needed moments to add to the scoreline there. Patient inside the box. Tyler Brew left that near post exposed, and Carlos Vitor punishes him for it. That always makes you feel good as a head coach when you make a substitution at halftime and the sub you brought on scores in the first 6 seconds. Paying immediate dividends there as Carlos Vitor had come on for Augusto Maciel. Now Alcides Thomas, who's checked into the game. Ooh, I believe, unless there's 2 Alcides Thomas who's playing the PDL. I think was just a member of the Southwest Florida Adrenaline. "3-0 now the scoreline here. As Lopez stands over this free kick, looks to swing this in the box around the PK spot, maybe just a little bit beyond that. Looks like he'll do it. And that's a great ball flicked on. Say Alcides Thomas got a piece of it, but touched in the end by a Villages defender. Now left-footed corner. That wind playing tricks with it. Medina gets the head to it. It's Menziges who was on the corner there. To Oliveira, who's still yet to earn a free kick today, regardless of how hard he goes down. Ball headed forward, Alcides Thomas. It runs away from him. Goes out of play for a Villages throw. William Pereira, Carlos Araujo, and now Carlos Vitor, your goal scorers this afternoon for the Villages SC. Carlos Vitor now wanting to turn. All the way back. Donde. Excuse me, that was Menziges. Not had the best of days. As a matter of fact, it looks like Donde is the player that had checked off for Alcides Thomas. Arce now with it. Arce cuts in. Tries to sell that free kick. Again, the referee, whether right or wrong, has stuck to his guns in regards to when players sort of throw themselves down on the pitch to not reward them. Menziges tries to lay it off. Alcides Thomas the touch. That ball off Menziges, but stays in play. Carlos Vitor now. He's got it. Tries to play Araujo in, wanted to go give and go. But instead, that ball out of play. Arce being warned by the official. Some physical play earlier in that run. De Oliveira. And again, Arce with his hands all over a Villages player. That ball gets through to Araujo, who uses his wide frame, cuts back. Now Araujo on the right foot. Hanlon was the player there offering up the pressure. That ball attempted to be flicked on for Lopez. Rodriguez to throw over Diogo Pereira. All the way back to Arns Carnard. Favano. Thomas lays off. Arce, first ball, first touch. Tries to play it in the way of Medina. Paulo Pita alert to it. Comes out to take it. That ball over the top of Arns Carnard. And he'll just try to shield off Carlos Vitor. And he does. Throw into Lopez. Hurtado turns it over there. Carlos Vitor lays it back heel. Pedro Diaz off the crossbar. Carlos Araujo tries to follow. He's ridden off of that by Arce. Gets it forward to Alcides Thomas. Wesley Pereira steps in to win it. Now De Oliveira will slow it back down. But another opportunity there for the Villages SC to add to this lead. That ball over the top, sort of lost by Cordell Hill. It's fortunate to have that thing bounce back up in his face. Otherwise, Carlos Vitor could have been off to the races. That ball out of play for Floridians FC throw. In just over a game and a half, the Villages SC have tallied 9 goals. 6 in their previous game, and we're just beyond the halftime whistle here, and they've already got 3. Arns Carnard now. Hanlon. Menziguez. Tries to turn. He does. Off the left foot. Saved by Pita. Keeps it in front of him. Gives no second opportunity to the Floridians FC. Pedro Diaz now. Antonio Rodriguez able to keep that in play. Diogo Pereira and Arns Carnard collide there. Wesley Pereira. Lopez with the pressure there, forced to play it out. Floridians FC throw. Lopez into Medina. Arns Carnard now. Back into Medina. Medina the cross. Attempted for Favano, but it still falls to Favano. And his shot, though, nowhere near the frame of the goal. And Paulo Pita will be comfortable just to walk this thing out to the 6-yard box, set it down, and watch time tick away before he puts his right foot into it. Ball forward. Both Araujo and Vitor in the neighborhood, but it's won away by Floridians FC. Federico de Oliveira wins it away. Good touch inside. Pedro Diaz, who saw Carlos Vitor, just couldn't get it in front of him enough to play him through, as Vitor would have been in one-on-one had that ball been played early. Menziguez. Arce to Thomas. Leaves it off for Menziguez. Menziguez has a chance here, but great tackle by Yago Lopez. And even when the door looks open for Menziguez, it shuts quickly. Very good combination play now. Alcides Thomas. Yago Lopez able to come across one more time. Lopez. Arce. Back Back on to Lopez now. Goes to the back post. That's a great shot off the crossbar. Cordell Hill in an advanced position. That ball gets beyond Menziguez and just played forward. Arns Carnard gets it back in quickly now. Lopez over top of it. Plays it back. Hanlon into the middle for Thomas. But Diogo Pereira just bangs it long. That ball touched back to the goalkeeper, who's going to have to work. We saw it in the last game. The ability to keep the ball by the goalkeeper at their feet. Not necessarily normally their strong suit. Carlos Araujo, I think dribbling between 2 or 3 defenders, probably not his strong suit either. And now Floridians look to break out after the turnover. That ball hammered across the face of the goal. But Iago Lopez all over the place there in the defensive third for the Villages SC. Able to head that ball out of danger for the moment. Mark Hanlon now, as the Floridians need to press forward. That ball chipped in. Archie Masson with a head to it. Antonio Rodriguez decides to put it into the next county. Favano, now his switch as the Floridians are to sustain some pressure here. They need goals, they need them quick, and they need a bunch of them. These two teams will do it again on Wednesday down in South Florida. De Oliveira, the chip on. Carlos Vitor just a step off sides. Looks like the Villages SC going to have another substitution. Archie Masson. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. De Oliveira is subbed off for Danilo Gias. Medina plays it out wide. Arns Carnard again. Diogo Pereira able to keep him from advancing that ball. Favano is at Menziguez. Now Menziguez is going to try it from long distance. Takes a deflection there. It earns a corner kick for Floridians FC. Ball at the top of the box, Favano plays in. Now back outside to Lopez. Archie Masson with the tackle. Floridians FC look now just to swing that ball into the box. Wesley Pereira gets ahead to it. Hanlon to Menziguez. Menziguez now off that left foot. Chip to the back post. Pizza. Oh, Cordell Hill offered an elbow and knocked the goalkeeper down. And the referee lets him off for just a warning. I think Cordell Hill pretty fortunate there not to receive the yellow card. He took his eye off that ball and definitely made an effort to make contact with the airborne goalkeeper. Pizza now receiving attention from the trainer, Yago Lopez, having a discussion with the official. The three officials here on the near side conversing. Not sure exactly what that conversation's about. That's the second time the officials had to come over at the request of the fourth official. Paulo Pizza and the Villages ready to resume play here. Again, the score line, the Villages SC 3, Floridians FC 0. And what is a very, very important game in regards to the Southeastern Division standings. 3 points here. Cordell Hill played that ball early to Medina, who was standing in an offsides position. Again, I wouldn't expect at any point any of these set pieces to be played with an expedient nature by the Villages FC, and why should they? They're enjoying the 3-goal lead. Favano. Good way to step in there, but John Lucchesi. That ball over the top to Medina. Antonio Rodriguez wins it. Pedro Gias and Yago Lopez just puts an authoritative boot into the ball. Alcides Thomas chests it down. Arce able to keep that in. Beats Danilo Gias. That long switch has Pizza beat. And can it stay in play? It does. Lopez. The ball turned over. Gias. Danilo Gias. Excuse me, Diogo Pereira, excuse me. The long switch there. Oh, Carlos Vitor. Cordell Hill and Cordell Hill and Carlos Vitor, some words. Carlos Vitor, after coming on as a second half sub, has already had his impact felt with the goal. Favano. Alcides Thomas, the chip. Paulo Pizza reads it beautifully. He had taken about 4 steps towards that spot before Alcides Thomas had even played the ball. Arce underneath it wins the header. Menziguez the intended target there, but Lucchesi, the fourth, equal to it. Mark Hanlon looks like he's coming off for Floridians FC. Hill exit on the back side of the pitch. It's about that time to have all hands on deck. Christian Boreen. Another second half sub. Jorge Pires into the game. Referee wants to take a look at the ball. He's deemed that one to be unplayable. He's asked for another from one of the ball boys. Apparently that one more to his liking. Ball forward. Arns Carnard wins the header there. Favano with the turn. Menziguez and Rodriguez renew their rivalry over there with the similar result. That ball hammered to the middle. Iago Lopez wins it. Rodriguez heads it forward where Favano finds it for Floridians FC. Diogo Pereira wins that ball away. Carlos Vitor turns it over. Alcides Thomas. Medina back to Thomas. A little bit of a scramble here right now for Villages SC. Lopez tries to get the ball in. Danilo Gias will just play it forward. Masson steps in, good win. Diogo Pereira now loses his footing, but can he touch it on? Pedro Gias now. Not exactly a great opportunity numbers-wise, so he pulls it back. Foul whistled on. And a yellow finally shown. To Favano, number 7. I believe that might have been the first yellow card we've seen today. It hasn't necessarily been dirty, but it's been chippy at times. Gias now. Pedro Gias has Carlos Vitor with him. Gias wants to go it alone. Carnard able to win that ball away. He and Gias again. Ball switched. Pires turns it over. Wesley Pereira tries to sneak the outside of the foot pass on to Carlos Araujo. Ball switched over to the top here. Arce in the middle to Pires. But that's one away by the Villages. Carlos Vitor, good ball to Carlos. Araujo. If you're Carlos Araujo there's nobody within 20 yards of you. Not much of a foot race. Almost have to be 100% positive you're onside there. Ooh, good touch. Just a little too heavy. The idea was good though. Menziguez unable to pull it off. But that was very close on this near side from being a breakaway to goal for Carlos Araujo, who's already found the back of the net once. He's been pretty adept at doing it all season long. Now Carlos Vitor tries to swing it around, finally gets to Araujo, but he was offside that time. The first ball didn't get through, and so by the time the second ball had a chance, he was in an offside position. But up 3 goals, Villages SC doing what they know how to do, and that's score goals. Look like they're ready to take their foot off the brake. That ball chipped into the box for Medina. Wesley Pereira. Danilo Gias tries to find Pedro Gias. It doesn't get there. Archie Masson steps in and wins that ball away. Archie Masson, it's a 3v2. Archie Masson may want to go it alone. Now he's got the overlapping run. Another player has joined for the Villages. It's Pedro Gias. Now Carlos Araujo. That first touch. Loses it there. At one point you had a 3v2 and a 4v3. Every day in training, 3v2s done there, but not the way you'd want to see it done. See if they can find the goal on this corner instead. Thought Archie Masson was going to go it alone there. Gias, ball inside, Favano gets ahead to it. A little space here. That ball played outside. Menziguez turns the ball over. Alcides Thomas picks off that pass, finds Menziguez. Menziguez likes it on his left foot, chips over the top. Apparently onside there. That ball swung in the middle, intended for Lopez, but Gias, Pedro Gias finds it, gets it all the way out to Carlos Vitor. Has a knack for finding wide open spaces. Vitor just waits for it to open up. Pedro Gias there and drags it wide. Carlos Vitor very patient in allowing that passing lane to open up. Finds Pedro Gias, who I would say if I had $5 in my pocket and he had that shot again, I would put my money on him burying it, but not at that moment. He drags it wide of the post, and it remains 3-0. But again, Carlos Vitor with it inside to Araujo. Battle of strength and wills there on the floor, and Araujo earns the free kick. Dangerous play is the whistle there. Defender trying to play the ball as he was on the ground. Pedro Gias looking at this ball here. It's over the top. That's way too strong. All that wide. Perez cuts inside. But his pass, not good enough. But turned back over right to the feet of Perez. Now Alcides Thomas. Lopez. Perez, who had continued his run to the right side of the pitch, now gets it back. Lopez in the middle. Medina on the right foot, turns. It can't get much on that shot. Never really truly tests Paulo Pita. Looks like at the next opportunity, the Villages will bring on Kyle Nelson. That punt there. Instead finds Alcides Thomas. Alcides Thomas looks to cut inside. Antonio Rodriguez does. Thomas lays it off. Ball across the face of the goal, and that's a goal for Floridians FC. score now 3-1 in favor of the Villages. Christian Buran, with the cross. And that was Gonzalo Medina with the finish inside the 6-yard box. Over the next 20 minutes or so of this second half, Floridians FC are going to be forced to, again, continue to push forward, looking for 2 more goals just to get to level terms here. Water break here, and it's breezy up top, but I'm sure on the pitch it is very warm. A little boost of confidence there for Floridians FC, and maybe momentum to swing in their favor. Can they find 2 more goals before the end of this second half and steal a point? Remember, these 2 teams will play again Wednesday of this upcoming week. Even if you don't end up with a point here, maybe building some momentum for the turnaround matchup may be important for Floridians FC. Kyle Nelson's checked in on the field now. Perez fouled by Archie Masson. Arce. Let's go outside of the foot. I think caught between 2 minds there. I don't know if he was thinking cross at first and saw Pizza cheating off of his line and then tried to go outside of the left foot to the near post. But Pizza able to recover and get to that ball. And then Pizza just pounds it out of play. Kyle Nelson has come on for Pedro Gias. Perez able to keep it in to the middle of the field. Alcides Thomas still has more on that far side. Menziges, the shot, the save. And Medina was offsides in an offside position with the following header. But credit Pizza for keeping that initial shot by Menziges out of the back of the net. But this is going to be a long back end of this second half for the Villages SC with no William Pereira, who came off in the first half after scoring the opening goal. Roberto de Lima, who is unavailable, and now Pedro Gias also checks off. Archie Masson. Danilo Gias. All the way into Carlos Araujo, who should be able to bring it down here, leaves it off. Diogo Pereira attempted the ball in for Carlos Vitor. Arce. Diogo Pereira whistled for the foul there. Floridians FC need to put the ball in play early, and they do. Perez is hammered there by Archie Masson. Archie Masson remains on the ground, and the official asking for the training staff to come out. Wesley Pereira shown the yellow card for delay of game. Archie Masson looks like he's cramping up maybe. Juan Favano comes over and offers his suggestions. Lopez. Alcides Thomas. Switched on here to Perez. Perez, who likes to get it onto that right foot. Diogo Pereira wins that away. Carlos Vitor now in a foot race. Changes gears and blows right past Lopez. Lays it across the front of the goal. Carlos Araujo. That pass maybe led him a little too much. But Carlos Vitor showing the change of speeds that makes him very, very dangerous out here on the wings. As Lopez thought he was within arm's reach, and Carlos Vitor runs away from him. Favano chips in. Buran. Lucchese wins that ball. Comes off of Buran. Be a goal kick for Paulo Pita. Arce gets a head into it. Medina, Floridians FC goal scorer. Villages will make another sub. It's like Uziel Hernandez is going to come in for Carlos Vitor. I'd imagine that Carlos Vitor may have felt a tug or something in the back of his leg after that long run there. See it just come on. Kyle Nelson, speaking of speed and ability to get to the goal, Kyle Nelson on the right foot. Knocked away. Brew with the save there. Carlos Vitor maybe have tightened up a little bit there as he came on to start the second half, scored a goal. He's had a couple of other opportunities either for himself or to set up teammates, but he's had to come off for Uziel Hernandez. Now Diogo Pereira will come over for this corner kick. That ball to the back post. Carlos Araujo wins it once. And then Brew comes out. It looked like he had knocked the ball out of play, but the referee was not in a good position to see it. Buran, who has an assist on the day for Floridians FC after coming in as a substitute. Tries to find Medina. Alcides Thomas. Menziquez. Inside, Buran now. Buran to the back post, or excuse me, to the front post. That was Medina there, colliding with Paulo Pita. Not sure if did he just show a yellow card to Medina or Pizza there? I saw the foul, but I never saw him approach Medina in a way that made it clear that the yellow card was intended for him. Apparently it must have been. Arce wins the header. Uchisi will play long to Carlos Araujo. Pavano switch here to Perez. Perez, who almost exclusively goes to his right. Maston now plays him in that direction. Buran. Lopez. Menziguez, the long switch to Alcides Thomas, who did a good job of getting a touch to it, but just couldn't keep it in play as the wind was playing tricks on that ball. We're going to see another substitution here. Looks like Arce is going to come off. For Floridians FC. Rafael Campos checks in for Arce. Wesley Pereira steps in and wins it with his head. Plays Kyle Nelson out wide, who's got an acre of space in front of him. Outside of the boot, crossed in. Carlos Araujo plays to Uzio Hernandez. Back to Wesley Pereira. Over the top. That's going to fall for Diogo Pereira, who's onside. Diogo with his left foot. Goalkeeper never got a touch to that. Perez. Lopez. Long ball over the top. Alcides Thomas, the intended target there. Antonio Rodriguez gets enough of it to send it out of play. The Village has a chance to regroup here. Menziguez. That ball for Campos. Campos gets to it. He's going to be able to keep it in. But Yago Lopez is there. And Campos there came in with his studs high and called for the foul there. Paulo Pita taking every last moment. Oh, great header on by Kyle Nelson to Carlos Araujo. Carlos Araujo being drugged. Turns, smashes it off the crossbar. Able to shield off. Kept that ball on his right foot, his preferred foot. And then instead of placement, went with power and it hit the crossbar. Uzil Hernandez now, the youngster, earning the free kick against Cordell Hill. Carlos Araujo being subbed off for Chad Bowen-Smith. Carlos Araujo, who had scored the goal in the first half at the very end, which stands at this moment as your game-winning goal. Clearly a tactical sub there. You bring on Chad Bowen-Smith, who's defensive player. As I say that, they play to him in the middle of the box. But Carlos Araujo, who's scored a lot of goals here recently for the Villages SC. No more goals are required here if you're the Villages. You just got to pack it in here and keep Floridians FC off the scoreboard 2 more times. Perez, even when he looks like he is thinking about going left, still wants to go right. Arns Carnard having to hustle to get to that one. Gets it to Alcides Thomas. Alcides Thomas able to beat Kyle Nelson. Beats 2, and then the third creates a foul against Wesley Pereira, who, remember, has the yellow card for the delay of game. May want to be very, very careful. Ball into the box. Campos gets to the ball. Now you've got major numbers up here. Kyle Nelson times his run beautifully. That first touch, though, gets by the left foot finish. Kyle Nelson, oh, little dab. At this point in the game, though, those are the kind of goals you expect to see. Floridians FC forced to press forward in an attempt to change the score line a little bit, but then the quick counter with Kyle Nelson, who just checked in a few moments ago, and his speed, his pace, one through ball releases him, and then he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And Brew unable to stop him. Your score now 4-1 in favor of the Villages SC, almost assuredly locking up 3 points and setting them apart at the top of the table here in the Southeast Division, at least for the time being. South Florida Surf play tonight against Southwest Florida Adrenaline. Buran, or excuse me, that is Favano. Now Perez, who went left, but then in the end goes right again. Danilo Gias changes the gear, shows a little something extra. Favano gets his money's worth on that challenge. And Cordell Hill plays it to nobody in particular. It'll be a throw-in for the Villages SC. Chad Bowen-Smith content to take it to the corner. Campos played off of him. Be another throw-in for the Villages. That is the game. Another 3 whistles, another 3 points for your Villages SC Buffalo. Takes them to 25 points and the top of the Southeast Division here in the PDL. These two teams will re-rack it on Wednesday down in South Florida in a must-win situation for Floridians FC. Right now, the Villages with 10 goals in their last 2 games. I don't think there's a team in the PDL that's playing better soccer than them at this point. Appreciate you watching, and we'll be back on Wednesday for the rematch between these two teams from South Florida right here on the VillagesSC.com.